Welcome to the MetPro Method Podcast. Today, I am joined by Carina Chiodo, the onboarding dietitian for MetPro. Today, we're going to be discussing the process of matching MetPro coaches to clients. Now, Carina, you've been doing this. You've been matching coaches to clients for 2 years now. So I know you have a lot of experience getting it just right.
That's right. Thanks for the intro, Crystal.
Well, thank you for being here today. I'm so excited for our conversation and to get some details about this matching process. So
absolutely.
Can you start by just kind of telling me a little about what it means to be an onboarding dietitian at MetPro?
Yeah. So pretty much what that means is, right after someone books a sales call and decides they really want to go forward with it, I do the onboarding call with them. So they land on my calendar, I give them a ring, and I always look at the clients a little, about a couple days beforehand, just to kind of get an overview, like, what was taken note of in the session? What are they trying to accomplish with MetPro? And I also can see any other things that are kind of side logistics that are important, like any underlying health concerns that I might have to ask a few more questions about. But by doing that, by looking ahead, I might have a better idea of which coaches at MetPro might have more experience working with the specific goals that person is trying to achieve. And then again, having my background knowledge as a registered dietitian, I am able to see, are there any health concerns or nutrient medication interactions that someone else might not be able to spot. So that's what I do. So I give them a ring, get to know them a little bit. And as long as they pass go, I match them up with the appropriate coach.
Okay. So the clients are meeting with you first after they've done the sales process. So why do you feel like it's important to match a client to the right type of coach?
Oh, so it's super important. So matching a person to the right type of coach can really help make a relationship cohesive in a way that the client is able to achieve what they're actually trying to. I think that when the right coach is paired with a client, there's a cohesive relationship that helps drive better results overall. And I also think that the right type of coach can help motivate the client in a way that actually makes them want to keep going. So I think that sometimes getting to know a little bit more about what that person is trying to achieve is really a key part of the process, or at least in the matching process on my end.
Yeah. So like what other types of things you're looking at, what their goals are? What else are you looking at when you're taking all of this into consideration?
Totally. So one of them is personality type. So little back end logistic, but MetPro does account for individual personality type as well as coaching style. So those are two really, really big pieces. And I try to make very strong efforts to match the right personality type with the right type of coaching style. Just as an example, some people, they need someone that's going to push them and challenge them. Somebody else just kind of wants a mentor. For a lot of people, fitness journeys can be lonely, depending on who their peer group is. So they're really just looking for somebody to feel like they have an accountability partner or just an ally in the process. For other people, they need someone who is going to explain the why behind everything. They need someone who talks to them about, why are we doing this?
That's me.
Okay. I bet I know what personality type you are. But so all different personality types do really well with very different coaching styles. So I do look at that. Another thing that I consider is dietary preference. So during my call with them, I ask for a lot of details about their dietary preferences as well as their usual daily intake. And there's no right or wrong answer. I do always begin with that. So there's no right or wrong answer. I hear everything. But just hearing what a person's dietary preferences are, as well as what they're eating on a regular basis, gives me the background knowledge that I need so that I can go through and kind of figure out, okay, which coaches have more experience working with this than others. And just an example there, some of the MetPro clients that we bring on are vegan. Some of them have very specific food allergies. So I might pair those clients with a registered dietitian.
Yeah.
Other clients are frequent travelers and have to rely on restaurants and on the go options all the time. And I know the coaches that have very specific strengths working with that. Those are just a couple of many, many examples of when that does come up.
Wow. So it sounds like you're looking at a lot of things. You're looking at a whole bunch of stuff. You're kind of juggling a lot of different factors into this. So can you tell us about a time that this approach has been successful? Because it seems to me like it's going to be successful not only for the client, but for the coach.
Yeah. So thinking about that, so it's so hard to think of one individual successsul instance.
Sure.
Just because there have been hundreds, if not thousands, of successful pairings at this point. And so I think that what I think is really cool to see is that we never run out of success stories at MetPro. I know, back end behind the scenes, all the MetPro coaches share their Wednesday wins on a weekly basis. And it's hard for each coach to choose just one to share because there's so many. So I would have to say, my answer to that question would be, it's hard to find a specific instance just because I think that successful pairings happen all the time, like every day. So
that makes perfect sense. Can maybe describe like what it looks like when it is successful, like just your favorite type of success?
I think that my favorite type of success is when somebody who might be what I would call a chronic dieter feels like with the help of their coach, they feel like they've finally broken free from that. And they feel like they don't have to rely on the chains of a diet for the rest of their life, where they feel like they just keep hitting a wall and hitting plateaus time and time again for years and years. And those are the success stories I really, really love reading about. Just reading about someone who feels like it's like, wow, I finally have been able to hack my metabolism and I don't feel like I'm in chains anymore. Another is, people who have really specific fitness goals, who have been able to hit, new PRs, marathon records, and whatnot, things like that. And they attribute it to the guidance from their coach. And they've, really explicitly stated, I have never tried anything like this before. And it was absolutely what was stopping me it was the barrier to me really achieving these milestones for myself. So I do really like reading about the fitness related successes as well.
It's interesting you bring that up because I feel like when a person first hears about MetPro, they kind of assume that it's all about weight loss. And yes, that's a key component. But there's so many off the scale things that MetPro does that it's stunning. Energy and sleeping, and like you said, hitting PRs, hitting new fitness goals, being able to hit a new low on your body fat if that's a goal for you. There's just so many things that MetPro does, and I feel like sometimes I forget to mention that to people.
Totally. Yeah. And even bouncing off of that a little bit, I think that hearing people feel like they just have a better understanding of their body. I mean, that's a huge win. It, like, weight aside, some people feel like it's all a mystery and they finally are able to know what works for them. And I mean, that's a huge win for a lot of people.
That's so true. I mean, I have been, I still am a MetPro client. So I feel like one thing that I have learned so much about is that, eating just a little bit differently week to week can make such a huge difference in whether I'm successful in my goals or not. And like just tweaking how I eat at night, or just tweaking if I eat like a snack, that can make such a huge difference. And I didn't realize that before. And And since everybody's different, I used to think, well, if my husband can eat that, then I can eat that. And that's not necessarily the case.
It's truly individualization.
It really is. It really is. So let's see. Is there anything else about the matching process that you feel like we should highlight that we haven't shared already?
Yeah. So one thing is our coaches at MetPro are all extremely strong. So I would say that even when there are circumstances where maybe I might pair a client with a specific personality with a coaching style that maybe wouldn't be the first and foremost choice for them, all of the coaches are selected so well that they all know how to adapt so well to whatever that client needs. So I think that that's something that I would say is a really important thing for anybody considering MetPro to really take into account, is that MetPro really is about individualization, and all the coaches go through rigorous training and are extremely excellent at what they do. So they know that, you know what, that individual is important and their needs need to be honored. And all the coaches, every single one of them, will work for each person's individual needs and lifestyles and taste preferences to make sure that they put all their best effort towards making it work for them.
Absolutely.
That's the beauty of the concierge service. So
yeah, that's a really good point. I'm glad you highlighted that.
That's the last lingering thing that I think would be important.
Okay. So Carina, when does the personality matching not apply?
That's a really good question. So there are instances, health is absolutely always a priority. So every once in a while, there is an outstanding health condition that I might say, hey, this person is this type of personality, typically pairs best with this coaching style. But if they have a very specific health circumstance that I feel like a different coach might be better equipped to work with them, I might make an exception there. And in those instances, I still have seen it always end up being successful, a successful pairing. Some other things would be very specific food allergies or dietary preferences that I know in the back of my mind, some coaches are more comfortable working with certain needs and circumstances in that way.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. The example you gave about being vegan, I can totally understand. If you're not a person who has experience as a coach eating vegan yourself, it can be hard to tell other people because there's so many nuances to getting proper protein from vegan sources that it can be a different kind of challenge. So yeah, that makes sense.
Definitely.
Well, Carina, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with me. I've really enjoyed our conversation. Listeners, that is all for today, but there is always more to learn about MetPro, and you can jump over to metpro.co to find out more. You can also find the MetPro Method Podcast anywhere that you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, etc. When you find us, please follow us so you never miss an episode, and be sure to rate and review. Until next week, I'm Coach Crystal, and remember, consistency is key.